What are we even going to see tonight? Like, at this point, I haven't bothered spending any time really trying to figure out what either party's policies are going to be, because I don't think we've had any sort of definition. Where I've been working is what I think is going to stay the same, and that is really going to be, no matter who wins, this friction with China, this tech battle is going to continue. We are going to see more and more protectionism.
Peter Cheer, head of macro strategy at Academy Securities, earlier on Bloomberg this morning on how he is or isn't watching the debate tonight. But we know Bloomberg Intelligence's Nathan Dean will keep an eye out for Wall Street, and he's joining us now. He, of course, is senior policy analyst for BI. So, Nathan, obviously he spoke to a certain lack of detail we've gotten from both of these candidates. The question's going to be, does Wall Street expect to get that detail tonight? Do you expect they will?
No, I don't. I mean, I think we're not going to get into the nitty-gritty of policies, much to my chagrin. But I think what we are going to see is just forward-looking statements about vision of plans. This is a very much an election of contrasts. Kamala Harris's vision and Donald Trump's vision. But what we are telling our clients, the most important thing that you can take into account when you hear a statement tonight is, how is this candidate going to get their plan through Congress or through the regulations or through executive action? Because you're going to hear a lot of rhetoric tonight, but the ultimate end game, if you will, is going to be much less once they realize how they have to negotiate with the other parts of the U.S. government.
Well, your business travel schedule recently tells us more about the state of this race than maybe any other metric at Bloomberg. You're making Taylor Swift look like someone who never leaves the house. The tour, I believe you're in 45 cities since Kamala Harris went to the top of the ticket. And the reason is Nathan talks to clients who want advice, investors who want to understand what the policy changes will mean for them as they plan. What kind of questions are you getting? Because it sounds like you're not going to be able to answer a lot of them tonight.
So a lot of it is just, what does a Kamala Harris administration look like? I think most clients feel that a Trump 1.0 administration would look very similar to a Trump 2.0 administration. But when it comes to Kamala Harris's policies, we really just don't have all that much. But we do have stuff that we can work off. We are telling our clients that this election is about tariffs, trade, taxes, and then this consumer reflection that you're hearing out of the Harris camp about price gouging and so forth like that. When it comes to tariffs, obviously, both President Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris have been in favor of certain tariffs, more broadly on the Trump side, more targeted on the Harris side. Taxes, 2025 is going to be a tax reform debate. So then we can play what-if scenarios of what ultimately these impacts will be to the sector and to the industries. Maybe not to the market writ large. That's still out to be determined. But we can look at like certain markets like renewables or industrials or healthcare, and then ultimately just try and figure out how each presidency would move forward with their policies and plans.
What about technology? Bloomberg's been reporting that Harris donors are pushing her to oust Gary Gensler and Lina Khan, the chair of the FTC. Do you expect that we'll see serious departure on that stage tonight or throughout the remainder of the campaign on technology from Kamala Harris?
So I don't think the vice president is going to try and talk about technology tonight. I would be shocked if she did. But I think our view is that the Kamala Harris view on technology is going to be somewhat similar to the Biden view on technology. So Lina Khan, chairwoman over the FTC, if she doesn't remain with the Harris administration, somebody very like-minded would. The bigger question for us is on the Trump side of the equation, because you have this J.D. Vance, the senator from Ohio.
Yeah, he loves Lina Khan, right?
He loves Lina Khan, and he has this idea of economic populism. So if that idea of economic populism gets into the White House, you may have a White House that's just as tough on big tech as a Biden-era regulator or a Biden-era White House would be. So, we aren't going to be able to predict which one we get, but right now we can say there is heavy scrutiny on the tech sector, and then moving forward, you're either going to have heavy scrutiny or maybe a little bit less scrutiny.
Less than a minute. How often have you been hearing the words unrealized gains in your conversations with clients?
Well, look,
every meeting?
It's up there with the SALT deduction. I mean, it's,
that's saying something.
This is one of the biggest questions, because everybody knows that we have a tax debate that's going to occur in 2025. And if you're President Trump or Vice President Harris, you're going to have to deal with it. So it'll be really important tonight to hear if Vice President Harris gets more information on that.
We'll probably hear those words tonight, Kayleigh, just maybe not from Kamala Harris. Bloomberg's Nathan Dean, Bloomberg Intelligence. Many thanks for the analysis. Coming up, closer look at how the debate might impact women voters in November.